Nothing would happen after tawfiq from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I'd like to give them a round of applause. And I'm sorry if I have missed any names. I'd also like to thank the advisory committee for their help and their commitment. Now, before I start questions, I want to tell you something. After this conference, and for those who are in Michigan, you'll say, okay, this is great, you guys are doing a really good job, okay, I may forget about it after a day or two. But I want to tell you that we are here, and we are presenting ourselves to you. We don't need to make any invitations now and tell you to be part of the advisory committee or come participate in our workshops. You have seen what we're doing, and I'm sure, and I'm very sure that many of you will step up and be like, I want to help too. You can come to us just twice a year, 3 times a year. Take a half day from work and do participate in one of our events at some of the high schools, some of the events that we hold for the parents. This is the parent-teacher conference. Help up, and you can go to AAYSP.com. We have the networking portal where you can create your own profile and network with all AAYSP members. Currently, we have 650 members from all over the world. So we need your help. We're not a lot, but we do make a difference. And we believe that coming together is the key for success. So thank you. I open now the floor. My colleague Hesham would come step up as well and welcome any questions that you may have. Thank you.
I have questions.
Give him the microphone. I think we have it there. We want to, yeah.
You know, in the media business, you have to ask a lot of questions. You know?
I think we have to give you a limit, Mr. Zaidi.
It's going to be 1 minute.
Okay. Turn on the microphone. Yep.
I see it's a big competition between Michigan and California. I've been in California. I know what it is. But do you think it's a female participation? We don't see any female in your chapter. Can you please explain us why it's a manpower?
Okay, I'm good with that question because we have members.
I never thought I would get this question, but we do have sisters in our chapter, and we have their email. But I think in California we're still a little bit restricted, or we don't feel comfortable to take a step to have a joint event with them. And we have some issues in California from the community, and we don't want to bring another issue. We don't want to have other problems with them. So, but now, just this last week, we talked with them, and last year we were running out of time to get them to participate in the ceremony. But this year they're going to host their own ceremony, separate ceremony, and it's going to be funded by AAYSP. And we're planning to have a joint meeting with them, the board of AAYSP. We're going to have a joint meeting with them soon, inshallah, and we're going to discuss how we can integrate together and work together. But we still have a lot of limitations in California, I think, my personal opinion.
I want to say something about that topic. We struggled too in the beginning. But alhamdulillah, some sisters stepped up. And I'd like Fatum to say something because she's the one who stepped up and brought the sisters into the organization.
I think that what a lot of us tend to forget in Yemeni American communities is that there are sisters there. They're not locked up at home. They're doing things. They're working. They're struggling. They're putting forth an effort, and that's something we can't forget. Even if, like you said, they're not present in those pictures, there are a lot of sisters that are probably involved in making those initiatives possible. Now, one thing that I also like to say while I'm up here is that there is no shame in being involved in an organization like this. There is no way that anyone could look and point at me and say that there's something wrong with me standing up here and not have me come back and tell them, no, there isn't. Because I honestly believe that what I'm doing is for a better cause, that I'm helping people, that I'm helping community members, and that there's nothing wrong in reaching out and helping other people develop and kind of lead better lives.
Sister Yasmin, who has stepped up in the beginning with Sister Fatum. Dr. Nasser, please keep it brief since we're running out of time.
Feels good. No, I know we'll have other opportunities, but I just want to really thank, our youth, both in Michigan and in California, for the fantastic work they have done. They make us look good. But as you can see, this is really homegrown local talent that are doing all this work. And I'm really very proud, and I just, I'm not asking a question, but just want to say thank you very much to everyone, both in California and Michigan. And I would like to see New York step up to the plate. We've been trying to get New York to step up, and inshallah we'll see more of that coming. I'm just saying thank you.
How many chapters now we have?
We do have a chapter in California, as you heard. We have a chapter in Chicago. They've been active before us, and they still for a while, so probably we'll give them a wake-up call. We have a chapter in D.C., and I'd like to thank those who came all the way from D.C. And the chapter in D.C. is not so much interested in youth, and they're actually so much interested in the community at large and doing research projects, since they don't have the problems that we have in Michigan and California. So I'd like to thank the ones in D.C. And we have a chapter in New York that has been sleeping. So inshallah, they'll be with you. All right. Any more questions for the chapters? Okay, Bassam and Mr. Mutahar? You can, anyone. Yeah. Give them the mic, Wallahi. Yeah. Or,
as you know, we have more than 10 organizations in Dearborn alone. And they've been here for 30 to 40 years, and I don't see any progress. Do you have any connection with the organizations to change things instead of going politics, what's happening in Yemen, making meetings and deciding what's going to happen in Yemen? It's not going to make any difference, I think. And barely we see them going toward youth, going toward scholarships, going toward higher education. What's your step on?
First, regarding politics, again, AAYSP does not engage in any political activities. So we stay away from that, no matter what the circumstances are. The second thought about the other organizations, we do have friends in all organizations. We have an open door policy to work with any organization that wants to hold an event. Access, Yemeni American Association, NAYA, any organization that wants to come to the table and be like, we want to work together, we'll be there. We're not going to look at the past, we'll be like, you did this, you did that. We have problems ahead, and we need to actually sit on the table and be like, our youth are our future. Put politics aside, put everything aside, let's work together. And I think any organization that hears this word, I believe they will be like, okay, do we want to be active or not? So actually, a year from now, inshallah, when we hold a conference here or in California, we will see the progress that we have made, and we'll see the other organizations that have stepped up. Okay, we want to help the youth, we want to work with you. So, inshallah, we have gave some, I would say, proposals to some organizations in our community. Some have been taken and no reply, and some have been taken and we will work with you, get back with you. You don't hear anything from them. So inshallah, and I know some of the people attending here are part of these organizations, and thank them for coming. And inshallah, after this conference, we will expect a call from them. Hey, Mr. Tahir, you had a question. Go ahead.
It's not a question, but a comment. I just want to commend you for the work that you guys have done, and for the gathering that you have brought us here together to prepare our future. And I'm an active member of AAYSP, and because as a result today, I'm not only going to be active, but now I'm encouraged more to do more. And I'm sure now, what everybody has heard and have seen, we will have more active members, and that's what we need to actually advance and provide. Let our children know that we are there for them, to support them. And this is a good foundation.
Thank you so much.
I want to thank the Michigan chapter for hosting this event, and I want to apologize for not having a lot of California members here. And some of them have not finished their finals. Some of them, they couldn't make it for some other reasons. So I apologize for that, and they say salam to all of you.
Good.
Now, we still have some minutes, and we cut off Anissa with her session, so I'd like to call in Anissa if she's here. Anissa, you're there? Yeah, you had some questions to be answered. So if you can come to the stage and get those questions answered in the few minutes, and then 2 questions only, and then we will have prayer and lunch. The prayer will be in 2 rooms. They are Greenfield and Southfield, and they are, when you walk into the hotel, they are to your right. And there is a room for the sisters, for the brothers, and it's open 24 hours. So for those who are staying in the hotel, you can pray there anytime you want. Anissa, go ahead.
Glad to be back. Okay, so I think we have a question there. Yes.
Yeah, I remember your presentation worked around expectations, standards. My name is Adel, an active member of the community and a board member in the American Youth. My question is around, your presentation was around expectations, standards, and other members have presented the concern of parents' involvement. My question is, do we know as a community, as parents, as professionals, how to set expectations for our children? I think that needs to come before we start setting those expectations, so we avoid any heavy burden on the child. And if you are setting him to be a doctor and he is due to be a information technology, then you might set him in the wrong direction.
Right, very good question. I think as we're setting expectations, we need to make sure that they're achievable, first of all, and realistic, because we definitely don't want to overburden the children or, steer them away from education because it doesn't seem as achievable. I think it's important to look at their skills and their interests, because eventually all of this needs to be sustained, so you can push them to go to college, but if they're not enjoying the major because that's not what they selected, chances are they'll drop out. So I think definitely just talking more with the children, figuring out where their interests lie, and also what their skills are, just to build on those. So those would be my recommendations. And definitely not to steer them in any one direction. I see that a lot, and they don't always end well. Either there's a change in careers during college, or after graduating, students find they have to go back and just select a completely different career, which is okay, but it's also frustrating, time-consuming, and just a financial burden overall. Yes, Hesham.
I just want to share about what Hussain had mentioned about you're just a Yemeni. And it's a fact, and we have to deal with it. But when I started my career back in 1995, it was a month after that I'd been involved with mortgage banking. I went into a real estate office, and I'll never forget it. And I actually get choked up when I think about it. And I go back to schools and talk to kids and look at their face and remember how it was for me when I first started in Salina in 3rd grade, and lacking that self-confidence that I can do something. But I walked into a real estate office, and my intention when I first started in my career was to deal with the best real estate agents out there, and I was going to get business from them. But I went in, and this guy was one of the top, been in the business for 17 years. He goes, Ali Shemi, and you've seen some, because one of my tactics when I went into the mortgage banking was I wanted to promote myself and make Ali Shemi a household name. And he goes, you're not Lebanese, you're a Yemeni. I said, yeah, and you're just a Yemeni, right? And he goes, I'll give you 6 months.